And we're back. Hello, good morning, and welcome once again to Creepy Cheapies with Dr. Lady, where we take a look at the best in reasonably priced Halloween masks. I'm Calvin Coolidge, and today our mask on Creepy Cheapies just happens to be one of my very favorite rotted corpse zombie type characters of all time from one of my favorite movies of all time. And I'm talking about, from the 1982 movie Creepshow, talking about Dead Nate. That's right, Dead Nate. Dead Nate, right here. Who is basically a rotted skeleton covered with mud and gunk and such. Now, in the story, Nate is a mean old man who comes back from the grave to punish his sinful and decadent family. And by punish, I mean kill, basically. You know, with rotted corpses, it's always kill. They're not very good at coming up with creative forms of punishment or penalties or whatever. You know, when it's rotted corpses, nobody ever has to pay a fine or do community service or be put under house arrest. It's kill. It's always killing. That's zombie justice for you. I don't know why dead guys have such a hard time thinking of more creative punishments than killing, but maybe they've just been in their coffins so long that it's not easy for them to think outside the box. But in any case, Dead Nate here has been brought to life a number of times before as a mask, most notably by Distortions Unlimited and by Death Studios, both of whom used Tom Savini, Dead Nate's creators, original molds and adapted their masks from Savini's original molds. There have also been versions by Topstone, and there have been a number of Dead Nate inspired masks, which is to say rotting skull type characters with ribs down in the front that were sort of not meant to be exact duplicates, but were Dead Nate inspired, the similar type of character and design. So very influential mask. And in addition to those other versions, Tom Savini himself has allowed a few copies into the collections of collector friends. So there are some copies straight from his mold, and then there are others adapted from his molds, but with changes made. For example, the Savini original didn't have any teeth in it. It just had empty tooth sockets, and then plastic teeth were stuck in, denture teeth, I guess, were stuck into the sockets for the mask used in Creepshow. The versions by Distortions and Topstone and Death Studio and such generally had the teeth sculpted in, as does this version you see before you. So you might be wondering, with all those previous versions of Dead Nate bopping around and all of those original mold ones floating around in the atmosphere, why did we need another new version? Well, the great thing about this one is it's actually wearable. And most of the previous versions were not wearable. They're just too small. Distortions tried to compensate for that by separating the back from the front and making it a little bigger this way. But they were just very, very difficult to wear. This is the first time we've actually had a licensed and official Dead Nate mask. Decent quality, very good paint job, and it's wearable. Now this came out in time for Halloween of 2018, if you can remember back that far, from the folks at Trick or Treat Studios. It is not from Savini's original mold, obviously. This one has been resculpted for you by the phenomenally and obscenely talented Justin Mabry, who does a lot of the sculpting for Trick or Treat. He resculpted this. Now you might be thinking, oh, but I want an original mold one. Well, this is very, very close. Okay, it's very close, it's very precise, it captures the look of the original Dead Nate just beautifully. It is licensed and studio approved, and again, the great thing is, it's a little bigger. It's a little bigger than the real thing, so this one is actually wearable. The original copies of Dead Nate seem to have shrunk a little bit so that sometimes they look funny on a mannequin dummy or a skeleton or whatever you're building. Sometimes they look a little too small, so it's good to have one that's big enough to be wearable and to be scarable, because he's pretty scary. Now, one word of warning: I don't usually condone mask abuse of any kind, but in the case of Dead Nate, if you are actually going to wear this, you would obviously need to wear with it a suit that looks like a guy might have been buried in, meaning a coat, shirt, necktie, because that's what he wears. Please don't wear this mask with a hoodie and jeans. Just not going to have the same effect. But the problem is, the thing to be aware of, potential problem I should say, there's so much mask here. This big chest piece, and it comes clear out to the shoulders and it hangs way down in the back. Now, if you're going to wear this, or you're going to make some poor slob who works for you at the haunted house wear it next Halloween, you should be aware that a lot of people get claustrophobic in masks that they can't easily get out of. You know, if the mask ends right here, or it just has a little bit that you have to pull out of your collar, and you feel like, if I can't breathe, if I start freaking out and panicking and suffocating, I can just whip this off in 2 seconds. You feel good, you feel fine. But sometimes the human brain works in such a way that people who realize they're going to have a little bit of a struggle to get out of a mask, they start to get a little more suffocating. They start to feel as if they can't breathe. The reason for that is because they can't breathe. Because when you have a shirt and a jacket and a tie and everything holding this, and the weight of all that stuff pressing down on this part of the mask, yeah, it can be very confining and very smothering for some people, and they freak out and they panic. Now, I was lucky over the years because I really never had claustrophobia. That's right, I was never scared of Santa. I never had claustrophobia, but some people do. Now, if you're going to have somebody wear this for hours and hours and you don't want them panicking, freaking out, dying, you really don't want, you know, a panic attack leading to a heart attack leading to a dead employee, unless you like the idea of having a haunted house next year that's really haunted. Trust me, that's not a good way to go about it. You don't want that. You don't want spirits coming back to curse you for killing them, for making them wear a mask. Anyway, what you might have to do is sacrifice some of the mask in the interest of making it more wearable. Now, as far as the face, it's very small. The way it's trimmed is very subtle and very, well, as it should be, because the mask looks awesome on display. But there are these little sort of cords running up and down between his jaws, in between his teeth and such. And if you like, you could cut out, very carefully with an X-Acto knife, I would say, you could cut out some more little tiny holes in between the teeth. You could cut little holes in the nostrils with the X-Acto knife. You could even make the eye openings quite a bit bigger without sacrificing any effect, because they're pretty small and subtle. Just if you need to. Just if you feel like you're dying when you or the poor slob I mentioned previously is wearing this and you need to cut a little bigger. If that doesn't do it, then we're going to have to resort to drastic action and cut some of this stuff off. And I know I hate to do that if you're a collector, but if you're just buying one of these for in the haunted house or something like that, you might have to cut this away, so that it's easier to get on and off with the costume. If you want one just as a collector and you're not running a haunted attraction, then fine. You obviously want to leave it as it is, nice and complete. Dead Nate from Distortions was probably the first rotted corpse mask out there that had this whole, instead of just the bib, it came all the way out to the shoulders and clear down with the ribs. And it influenced a lot of later corpse masks. Although, in the interest of fair play, just where the bibs are concerned, Savage Eye got there first, and I think they had the first skull mask that had bones down the front, but it was nowhere near as, you know, elaborate as this. And you're thinking, oh, if I cut that off, yeah, I'll have a good mask for my Halloween event, but then I won't have an intact collectible version of Dead. Well, if that's the way you feel about it, if you're a collector and a haunter, then I think you should buy two of them. The Trick or Treat Studios Dead Nate from 2018 sells for around 60 to 70 bucks, which I think is a great price for something with this nice of a paint job and this beautiful of a sculpture, this much detail. He's got a little bit of hair stuck on there. It's really quite a spectacular mask, and well, I wouldn't have any problem with buying two of them, would you? In fact, you know, you see, buy two of them and then you can cut the stuff off of one and have it wearable, and then the other one goes on display in your zombie collection. And well, I think everybody should buy two of them. It's so cool. In fact, when I run for president, that's going to be on my campaign platform. 2 creep show zombies in every home and a turkey in every snowmobile.